Have you ever felt overwhelmed by life, as if you were constantly battling something beyond your control? What if I told you that the key to living with more wisdom, peace, and balance doesn't lie in controlling everything around you, but in mastering your own mind? Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, holds the answer to this relentless pursuit of a calmer, more purposeful life. The art of living with wisdom isn't about avoiding life's challenges or difficulties, but about how you choose to respond to them. Imagine the freedom of not being ruled by external circumstances, the freedom to live with inner peace no matter the chaos around you. Stoicism offers exactly that. It's an invitation to look inward, cultivate a strong and focused mind, and through that inner strength, transform even the most challenging moments into opportunities for growth and learning. If you're tired of feeling at the mercy of circumstances and want to take control of your own life, this video is for you. Let's explore together how the teachings of great Stoic masters like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius can not only change your mindset, but also transform your reality. This isn't an ordinary video, nor is it an ordinary philosophy. Stoicism goes beyond quick fixes and promises of magical solutions. It demands deep reflection and disciplined action, but in the end, the reward is a life of true freedom and balance. There are no shortcuts, but the journey is worth every step. Are you ready to discover how Stoicism can change your life? Let's begin now. How Stoicism can change your life in 30 days. The art of living with wisdom. Have you ever imagined what it would be like to live each day with more emotional control, more wisdom, and less suffering? Picture waking up in the morning and, instead of getting lost in worries, being able to face challenges with calm and clarity. That, my friend, is what Stoicism promises for your life. It's not about a magical change, but a slow and steady transformation, like a leaf falling from a tree, not without purpose. In 30 days, you can begin to change the way you react to the world without expecting the world to change first. The secret? Practicing Stoic principles every day with discipline, dedication, and an open mind to new habits. By the end of those 30 days, who knows, you might just become a wiser, more balanced version of yourself. But what exactly does it mean to live with Stoic wisdom? How can the simple act of applying these teachings truly change your life in such a short time? It's not about knowing, but about doing. Stoicism teaches us to live according to reason, to face challenges with courage, and to understand that while we can't control everything that happens around us, we can control how we react to it. With each passing day, Stoic principles become more than words in a book. They become powerful tools for turning pain into learning and obstacles into stepping stones toward emotional balance and inner peace. Let's start with a simple exercise. Choose a challenge and apply a Stoic lesson. This could be the starting point for true transformation. And don't think that just because it's only 30 days, you can't make a profound difference. In fact, the depth lies in consistency. Imagine a stone being shaped by flowing water. Each day, each small change, each slight adjustment in your perspective carves a new path for your mind. Stoicism offers the wisdom needed to live with purpose and face life's challenges with resilience and control. In 1 month, you'll have the chance to reprogram your mind to think clearly, act wisely, and live with inner peace. The art of living with wisdom. How to overcome life's challenges with Stoicism. Life, as we know, is not a bed of roses. Full of surprises, challenges, and difficult moments, it often puts us to the test. But what do you do when everything seems out of control? Stoicism teaches us to embrace challenges as opportunities for personal growth. Instead of reacting with anger, frustration, or despair, Stoic philosophers invite us to adopt a different perspective. They tell us, you cannot control what happens around you, but you can control how you react to it. And this shift in perspective is the first step to overcoming any adversity with wisdom. Imagine you're stuck in chaotic traffic. What do most people do? They yell, get stressed, and let the day be ruined by an event entirely beyond their control. But what if, instead, you use that time as an opportunity to reflect, breathe deeply, and stay centered? This is a simple example of how to apply Stoic philosophy. Daily challenges like traffic, work, or even relationships don't have to be sources of stress. On the contrary, they can be valuable moments to practice self-control and emotional management. Stoicism teaches us that it's in chaos that we find true strength, as it's through adversity that we can strengthen our minds and principles. Overcoming life's challenges doesn't mean avoiding or trying to control them, but accepting them with the certainty that they are inevitable and part of the human experience. By applying Stoic teachings, you learn to live with more balance and less resistance. Wisdom lies in not fighting what cannot be changed, but using that acceptance as a springboard for personal growth. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to deepen your self-awareness, understand your emotions, and transform pain into wisdom. Over time, life stops being a series of obstacles to overcome and becomes a journey of learning and evolution. Living with purpose. How Stoicism teaches you to make life-changing decisions. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thought that comes to mind? Often, people wake up with a sense of uncertainty, unsure of the day's purpose. This happens because in our daily lives, we can get lost in small things and lose sight of the bigger goal, living with a clear and conscious purpose. Stoicism teaches us that living with purpose isn't found in grand achievements or conquests, but in the small daily choices we make. Every decision, no matter how simple, has the power to steer us toward a more fulfilling and meaningful life. The great Stoic masters, like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, emphasized that our life's purpose should be guided by reason. By making decisions aligned with our values and inner wisdom, we can create a life truly worth living. This doesn't mean we'll always know exactly what to do, but that we should strive to act with intention and discernment. Stoicism encourages us to ask, what is truly important, and how can I act virtuously, regardless of external circumstances? These simple yet profound questions form the foundation of a purposeful life. By applying Stoic teachings, you become more aware of your choices. It's not just about making good decisions, but about making decisions that are truly authentic and respect your life's path. When you align with your purpose, you begin to act not just to achieve external goals, but to live a life that reflects your deepest values. Every action becomes an opportunity to strengthen your character and inner peace. A life with purpose isn't about perfection or the absence of mistakes, but about the courage to live according to what matters most to you. Every decision made with Stoic wisdom is a small step toward building a meaningful and purposeful life. The Stoic path to inner peace, the art of living with wisdom in times of chaos. Have you ever felt like you're being swept away by the turbulent waves of life? As if new problems, crises, and worries arise at every moment? The feeling of chaos seems to be a constant in the modern world. But what if I told you that it's possible to find peace even in the midst of it all? Stoicism teaches us that true inner peace doesn't come from a world without difficulties, but from our ability to maintain serenity in the face of adversity. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us that external chaos cannot affect the calm of our mind unless we allow it. When you encounter chaos, the human mind's first reaction is to resist, to fight against what's beyond our control. However, resistance only increases suffering. The Stoic path suggests a radical concept: accept what cannot be changed. Inner peace, therefore, doesn't come from trying to change everything around us, but from changing how we react to it. By embracing the impermanence of things and understanding that nothing is eternal, we can release the weight of expectations and accept the present moment with serenity. When we realize that chaos is inevitable, but our response to it is in our hands, we become free. Living with Stoic wisdom in times of chaos means developing the ability to act without attachment, to act with virtue and effort, but without being tied to the outcomes. Seneca speaks of the importance of preparing for the unexpected, like a sailor preparing for storms. Inner peace is cultivated when you understand that, even in the storm, you can hold the helm steady. This isn't a denial of pain or suffering, but an understanding that you are greater than any external situation. When you accept things as they are and maintain control over your mind, you find true peace, not in the world, but within yourself. Stoicism in practice. How to live a life without regrets. How many times have you looked back and wondered, what if I had done things differently? Regrets are a natural part of the human experience, but at their core they are also a form of self-inflicted suffering. Stoicism offers a revolutionary perspective on this feeling. It teaches us that regret is not a destiny, but a choice. True freedom lies in living without regrets, not because we don't make mistakes, but because we accept our flaws as part of our learning and growth. The key, according to the great Stoic masters, is to live consciously, aligned with our principles, and act based on what we can control, our choices in the present. Living a life without regrets doesn't mean we won't err or fail along the way. On the contrary, Stoicism teaches us that mistakes are opportunities to learn and strengthen our inner wisdom. The true practice lies in accepting our errors with humility and using them as a chance for growth, rather than tormenting ourselves over them. Seneca, in his letters, speaks of freeing ourselves from the weight of the past, reminding us that we cannot change what has already happened, but we can always change how we react and what we do from now on. Every decision made with a calm and present mind brings us closer to a life without regrets. However, living without regrets also means making decisions with greater awareness. This requires being honest with yourself, reflecting on the impact of your choices, and acting in accordance with your deepest values. Stoicism invites us to ask, if I were at the end of my life, would I look back on this decision with peace? If the answer is yes, then you're living according to what truly matters. If not, it might be time to reassess your choices. The Stoic path to a life without regrets is not free of difficulties, but it is full of self-awareness, resilience, and above all, a deep acceptance that we are human and fallible, yet incredibly capable of evolving. How Stoicism can improve your mental health. The art of living with wisdom every day. Mental health is one of the most discussed issues today, but often the answers to our greatest internal challenges don't lie in external solutions. Stoicism, with its simplicity and depth, offers a unique approach to dealing with the emotional storms of the mind. Stoic philosophers believed that just as we train the body, we must also train the mind to be stronger and more resilient in the face of adversity. Mental health, then, is not just about relieving momentary stress or anxiety, but about cultivating a calm, focused mind capable of handling any challenge life presents. And this is possible, believe it or not, through a daily practice of mental discipline. Epictetus, for example, teaches us that true freedom comes from controlling our reactions, not what happens around us. When we master our emotional responses, we can transform even the most difficult moments into opportunities for growth. When you let yourself be ruled by your emotions, whether anger, anxiety, or sadness, you lose control of your life. But by applying Stoic teachings, you begin to understand that you can choose how to react to any situation. This doesn't mean ignoring emotions, but recognizing them without letting them control you. Thus, one of the greatest benefits of Stoicism for mental health is this: it teaches us to create space between external stimuli and our internal reactions, where peace can be found. The daily practice of Stoicism also teaches us to accept what we cannot control and focus on what is within our reach. If you find yourself worrying about the future, what others think, or things you cannot change, Stoicism offers a simple and effective solution: focus on the present. Mental health strengthens when we are present, focused on what matters, and free from unnecessary worries. Stoic wisdom invites us to realize that many of our fears and anxieties are fueled by things beyond our control. When we learn to distinguish between what we can and cannot change, we cultivate a calmer, more resilient mind, always ready to act with reason rather than impulsive emotion. Transform your suffering into wisdom. How Stoicism teaches you to deal with pain and failure. Pain and failure are inevitable in the human journey. At some point, we all face losses, disappointments, and moments of deep suffering. But what do you do with that suffering? Stoicism offers a powerful approach to dealing with these painful moments. Instead of seeing them as something to avoid or fear, it teaches us to transform them into wisdom. Epictetus said, "It's not the things that happen to us, but how we react to them that defines us." Suffering, then, is not an insurmountable obstacle, but an opportunity to grow, reflect, and emerge stronger than before. When we understand this truth, failure stops being something that destroys us and becomes a tool for personal development. It's common to feel powerless in the face of pain. Whether it's the loss of a job, the end of a relationship, or the disappointment of a failed project, the feeling of failure can be overwhelming. However, Stoicism teaches that while we cannot control the events themselves, we can control our response to them. Instead of sinking into despair or self-criticism, Stoicism invites us to reflect. What can I learn from this? What can this moment of pain teach me about myself? Instead of letting suffering define us, we can use it as a starting point for wisdom. Like a blacksmith shaping steel in the fire, we can shape ourselves in the heat of difficulties. Moreover, Stoic philosophy teaches us the importance of accepting what we cannot change. Seneca reminds us that pain is temporary, but the pride of not succumbing to despair is eternal. This acceptance of the impermanence of pain frees us. Pain, no matter how intense, is fleeting, but the lessons we draw from it can last a lifetime. Suffering becomes something positive when we choose to learn from it and allow it to teach us. True wisdom comes not only from moments of happiness, but also from the challenges and losses we face. By applying Stoicism, suffering becomes a silent teacher, guiding us toward a stronger, wiser, and more aligned life with our inner values. The power of Stoic self-control. How to manage your emotions and live with wisdom. In a world where we are constantly bombarded by external stimuli and intense emotions, self-control can seem like an almost unattainable skill. However, Stoic philosophy teaches us that true power lies in our ability to master our own reactions. For the Stoics, self-control isn't about emotional repression or ignoring what we feel, but about consciously choosing how to respond to what happens to us. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic figures, reminds us that life is what happens to us, but how we react to it is what truly matters. Self-control, therefore, is the key to transforming our emotions from uncontrollable forces into allies that guide us with wisdom. The first step to developing self-control, according to Stoic teachings, is awareness. By being mindful of our emotions, we can prevent them from overpowering us and leading to impulsive reactions. For example, imagine someone deeply irritates you. The automatic reaction would be to respond with anger, right? But Stoicism challenges us to pause, breathe, and ask, what's the best way to respond to this? Instead of acting impulsively, you choose to respond with calm and clarity, recognizing that anger solves nothing and that serenity is the true strength. Self-control, therefore, is not a battle against our emotions, but a constant practice of choosing the most rational and balanced response. Additionally, Stoicism teaches us to distinguish between what we can control and what we cannot. Many of our emotional reactions stem from frustrated attempts to control the uncontrollable. By applying Stoic philosophy, we learn to accept what we cannot change and focus our energy on what is within our reach. Self-control is a daily practice that strengthens over time as we make more conscious decisions aligned with our values. With each wise choice, our mind grows stronger, and gradually, inner peace becomes an achievable reality, even in the most challenging situations. Seneca's wisdom: how Stoic philosophy can free you from life's shackles. Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, always reminded us that life is brief. It's not that we have little time, but that we waste much of it, he said, a vital lesson in today's world where haste and consumption disconnect us from what truly matters. Seneca's wisdom teaches us that instead of getting lost in the passing of time, we should learn to live with intention, awareness, and a clear understanding that the present moment is all we truly have. Stoic philosophy, therefore, is not a search for easy answers, but a way to live more fully, in harmony with what is truly valuable. For Seneca, freedom didn't come from a life without problems, but from the ability to act with wisdom, regardless of external circumstances. When we accept that suffering and challenges are part of life, we can free ourselves from the shackles of fear and frustration. True freedom lies in our mind, not in controlling circumstances. Seneca teaches us that by focusing on what is within our control, our actions, thoughts, and choices, we can free ourselves from the tyranny of worry and anxiety. Each day lived according to this philosophy is a step toward a freer, more authentic, and wiser life. If you find yourself trapped in cycles of self-sabotage or constant dissatisfaction, Seneca's teachings offer a way out. He teaches us to look inward, question our fears and expectations, and act according to our deepest values. By embracing Stoic philosophy, we begin to act not based on impulses or external pressures, but on reason and virtue. Thus, life, in all its complexity, ceases to be a prison of frustrations and becomes a journey of freedom, guided by wisdom and clarity of purpose. Marcus Aurelius's Stoic philosophy: how to apply his teachings to live a better life. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, is perhaps one of the greatest examples of how philosophy can be applied to practical life, especially in times of great pressure. In his meditations, he offers a personal guide on how to live a better life with more wisdom, inner peace, and emotional balance. His writings, though profound and serious, are also surprisingly simple and accessible. He teaches us that life doesn't need to be complicated or burdened with endless desires and distractions. True happiness, according to Marcus Aurelius, lies in living justly, with self-control, and in harmony with nature and those around us. The core message of Marcus Aurelius is the importance of focusing on what we can control and accepting what is beyond our reach. He reminds us that much of our anguish and frustration comes from futile attempts to control the uncontrollable. When we apply this wisdom, we can let go of worries about the future or what others think and start living with more clarity and purpose. Marcus Aurelius teaches us not to react impulsively to external situations, but to step back, reflect, and act according to reason, virtue, and self-control. Life becomes much lighter when we understand that our happiness and peace depend solely on our own approach to challenges. Applying Marcus Aurelius's teachings is not something done all at once, but a daily practice. Each moment offers a new opportunity to act with wisdom, make decisions aligned with our values, and maintain calm even in the most chaotic situations. By following Marcus Aurelius's footsteps, you begin to cultivate a fuller life, where serenity doesn't come from the absence of problems, but from our ability to respond to them with discernment and inner peace. His writings are an invitation to live with more purpose and clarity, to be, as he said, those who can achieve true freedom of the mind while still in the world. We've reached the end of this video, but the real journey is just beginning. Stoicism teaches us that wisdom is not something acquired all at once, but something cultivated every day. Now that you've learned the basic principles of this philosophy, the real question is, How will you apply it in your life? How will you transform daily challenges, pain, and frustrations into opportunities to become a better version of yourself? If this video resonated with you, don't let the wisdom remain just words. Put into practice what you've learned, and let Stoic philosophy transform the way you face the world. Remember, peace doesn't come from the absence of problems, but from how you respond to them. So what will your first action be? Share in the comments what touched your heart the most and how you plan to apply Stoicism in your life. And if you haven't subscribed yet, take this moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to continue this journey of personal transformation. Also, don't forget to check the link in the pinned comment, where you'll find an ebook to deepen your knowledge and continue on the path of self-awareness and inner peace. The transformation begins with you. Are you ready to live with wisdom and purpose? Let's embark on this journey together.